July's CPI revealed that month-to-month inflation grew by nothing, 0.0%. Year over year, inflation grew by 8.5%. Both of these actual rates of increase to consumer prices came in below consensus, which is always a welcome surprise, and both were lower than June's CPI numbers.
As a corporate director, I'm looking for market sentiment. I'm looking at interest rates and what's going to drive interest rates. I'm looking at risk.
We effectively just went back to exactly the average rate of increase in inflation that we had for March through May. So we are not in any way out of the woods just yet.
If we exclude changes in food and energy prices, it helps reveal why 1 month of inflationary stagnation isn't enough to give businesses or the Fed enough clarity on how to move forward.
Rent is still up and packaged goods are still up. If you're buying frozen pizza and frozen dinners for your family, or you're buying, take out Chinese food, you're still paying more, and that still hurts.
Most of the decrease was in energy prices, which are very volatile. The good news, of course, is energy pervades everything else, of course, so hopefully this will begin to make its way through other parts of the CPI.
While month-to-month core inflation grew below consensus at 0.3%, year-over-year core inflation didn't move at all, staying stagnant at 5.9%.
One of the most important things about the CPI and what everybody's talking about this morning is trying to predict where the Fed's going to go with interest rates. Because ultimately, when you're talking about business, you're talking about their ability to get money, right? Debt and equity. How cheap is it for me to get some debt or equity so that I can grow, so that I can move, so that I can purchase, so that I can do other things and better lever the company?
The other most important layer for businesses to consider is how July's CPI numbers intersect with the recent July jobs report, which showed that average hourly earnings grew both month over month and year over year above consensus levels, while also adding 500,000 non-farm payrolls to the economy, which is more than double the consensus.
Businesses are facing a very difficult labor market within the United States. For core CPI, I would say you're effectively looking at the prices that are being charged to consumers by businesses, and that is the effect of the prices that businesses are then facing on their end. And obviously, their workforce is often one of the single biggest categories, if not the biggest, in terms of their cost structure.
Experts advise for corporate decision makers to look at the long term and not just CPI updates. Even if wage costs are high, recruiting top talent is an expense businesses should probably bite the bullet on for long-term recovery. Instead, strategies will be a critical metric for gauging which companies are going to weather the storm.
My main thing as a corporate director is I want to hold on to my people. I was just talking to one of my CEOs last night on a company that I consult for, and asking him what his pain point is. And his number one pain point still is recruiting and retaining people, right? It is a job seekers market still.
And I would tell investors, you need to be looking, that is probably the most powerful forward indicator of business performance right now, is how much do they appear to be taking on these new technologies and techniques to bring their sourcing and working with talent into the next century.